All right, good morning, everyone. I'm 13 WMAZ meteorologist Alex Forbes. Today, a level 3 severe weather day for us here in central Georgia. We are tracking a round of storms that will provide a damaging wind threat and a tornado threat before the day is over. I was just talking with the folks at the National Weather Service. Obviously, we have been upgraded to that enhanced risk, the level 3 risk for this afternoon. And the expectation is that we will have a tornado watch here fairly shortly in terms of the morning hours. So by noon, we're expecting to be in a tornado watch. The increased potential for damaging winds, tornadoes will be the main threats here in central Georgia. In addition, we're adding in a hail threat now. We could see hail potentially up to 1 inch in diameter. So a lot of this has escalated through the overnight hours, and we are going to be here to track it today. But let's talk about the different risk areas, why this is issued, the way it's issued, and what we're talking about. So obviously, the orange on the map here is the furthest up on the scale, the level 3. We don't have a 4 or 5, but we also have a level 2 down to the south. And what I was saying this morning was, I really don't think the severe weather risk in Macon versus Perry, or say Forsyth versus Eastman, is all that different from one another. I know you're in two different risk areas, but what this is telling me is we have a level 3 risk, and the level 3 should just be assumed everywhere because the environment up to the north versus the south is not all that different. So we are going to treat it as that today. Again, tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail. Now, the reason why we have a level 3 risk is twofold. One, the damaging wind outlook you'll see here. So we are now at 30% here on this scale. So that is the reason why the level 3 is in place. We do not get 30% on the damaging wind scale a lot. And then also, I just showed this in the last cut-in on 13 WMAZ, our tornado threat has now been doubled for areas to the north. So earlier this morning, we were all in this 5% risk area, and now parts of from basically Butler, Roberta, Macon, Milledgeville, Eatonton, areas to the northwest, now in a 10% risk area, and that means you have a 10% risk of seeing a tornado within 25 miles of any given point in that bubble. So I know 10% doesn't sound like a lot, but it is enough to raise our eyebrows now. It's nothing to laugh at, that's for certain. And it certainly constitutes that level 3 risk, which is what we have in place as of now. So let's talk about the timing of this. Let me pull up a graphic I've got here. So this is what I've been showing all morning. You walk outside, you're going to notice you get a southerly wind building in right now. It is very windy outside. It is also very warm outside. The temperatures this morning were above the average high for any given January 12th. So it is windy. We have a wind advisory in effect from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. tonight, and the wind is going to persist even when it's not storming at your house today. Here we are at 1 p.m. So between noon and 1 is when I think we get things started now. We get these storms forming out ahead of this main line that is currently back in Alabama and Mississippi. With these storms forming out ahead of the line, they will have a very unique feature in which they're called supercells, in that they are essentially isolated from one another. You've got so for example, don't pay attention to the exact location of these, but pay attention to the pattern. You have the storm in Eatonton acting as one. You have the storm in Macon acting as one, and you have the storm just outside of Dooley County near Lake Blackshear acting as one. And when you get that with a lot of wind shear, which is what we're going to have today in the atmosphere, they are able to rotate very easily, and that is our concern for tornadoes today. Now, on the secondary front, the damaging wind threat, that is going to primarily come with this main line. So there's going to be a point in time right around 4 p.m. where we're tracking these individual storms to see if they're rotating, and the main line is also going to be coming in. So while not everyone will see one of these storms, everybody is going to see this line, and this line is going to plow right on through central Georgia. There's 6 p.m., so coming through Macon, Warner Robins, Peach County, Crawford County, and it's going to take from about 4 to about 9 o'clock to get all the way from the northwest parts of our area, so Thomaston, Forsyth, say up near the Jasper County area, Gray, through Macon, Warner Robins, Dublin, Soperton, to get down to Vidalia, Jacksonville, McRae, and down towards the Abbeville area. And then as soon as that gets out of here, we will be done for the day. So let's talk about the timeline of this. So we are beginning the severe weather threat now at noon. At 12 p.m., we will begin the tornado, hail, and gusty winds threat. In fact, I actually wanted to update this. So here's some behind the scenes stuff, because we are going to elevate the wind threat and the tornado threat. So we are, for reference, so here you'll see the changes in real time. We're going to move the tornado threat now to an orange for at least a few hours, and we are going to up the hail threat all the way through. So there we go to orange there, and then we're going to take all of this hail and keep that around through 6, just like that. If the color wants to come up, and then we are going to also elevate the gusty wind threat as well. So here's some behind the scenes stuff of the changing of the graphics, and we'll get this out on the web here in just a moment. Let's see. There we go. So now we're, oops, not purple. Purple's not on our scale. That wouldn't make sense. So there you go. There's the new severe weather outlook based off the new information from the Storm Prediction Center. So the tornado, we are concerned between 1 and 3, maybe even 1 and 4. The hail threat all the way through now, and the gusty wind threat is going to be when this main line comes through, beginning at 4 and carrying us through about 7, 8, 9. Might up that up just a little bit too. But we will be watching this through the day today. So let me see. I don't know if we are on Facebook or not. So let me see if we are, and see if anybody is able to ask questions. And in fact, if Justin or Alexandria, if y'all are listening, could you let me know if we're on Facebook? Because I know we had some issues with that in the past, but I want to be able to answer questions, and I see that we are, so yes. So let's answer some questions here. Now, I'm going to say that I just went over everything, so I know there's going to be a lot of questions asking about like specific communities and all that. I will answer as much as that as I can, but you know, it's not going to change from what I said like 5 minutes ago. So let me punch up the radar behind me so that we can talk about specific locations, what we're seeing now, and what is to come. Let's see. So this is where things stand now. Let me pop up a different radar. There we go. So obviously warnings galore back into Mississippi and Alabama. All right. Hello from Forsyth, says Sheila. Charles saying hi. James Bates is watching. Carmen saying be safe, everyone. Thank you for the update. Watching from Hawkinsville, watching from Conyers, watching from Dublin, or Duluth, excuse me, Duluth in Atlanta. I know Duluth very well. And Sharon saying hello from Eastman. All of these spots, and this includes up towards Metro Atlanta. They're in the level 3 as well. In fact, they probably have a little better severe weather risk than we have. Better in the sense of not good, better in the sense of it's going to be easier to get severe weather up there than it is here, although it's going to be pretty easy in both spots. So looking at the radar right now, I just want to point out a few things, something that I'm noticing. So especially down to the south, we're starting to get these to develop. These would be the storms that move into central Georgia and begin to rotate right there. The main line back here into Mississippi. Interesting to note that you are getting hook echoes on the bottom of this line here. So I bet if I zoom in here, these are going to have tornado possible tags on the severe thunderstorm warnings. Yep, there we go. So there's one, there's the other. It would not at all surprise me to see a tornado warning on any one of those in short order. Not because I know a lot about the storm at the moment, but because I know how that National Weather Service office operates, and they'll just be like, tornado warning. So we're watching all of that. But it's this stuff down into the Florida panhandle now and the southern Alabama that if I put a loop on this, you're going to see is lifting up towards us, and that is going to be the storms that are able to fire. And look how they're individual in nature. You got that cluster, you got that cluster, you got that cluster. Kind of what you're seeing in Louisiana too. You got 1, 2, 3. They're not. It's not a solid line. It's a bunch of individual storms, and that is where you are able to get the rotation a little better. So I'm not seeing the comments update on my computer, so let me use my phone and we will look at the comments here. Yeah, see, I have 19 on my computer and 48 on my phone. So let's start from the top. Watching from Andersonville, should I reschedule my mom's 1 p.m. doctor's appointment, asked Teresa. Where is your doctor's appointment? And then we'll answer that. Michelle watching from Macon, Jennifer watching from Hawkinsville. Will it rain like a cow? Sure. How is Perry looking? Perry has the threat for severe weather this afternoon, and it is a day to be weather aware. Darlene asking about Bon Air, same as Perry, same for Centerville. It won't be here till tonight. TG, no, it will be here beginning at 1 p.m. Caleb watching from Muzella. It's going to be raining cats and dogs. Well, potentially, not for not long. Dino watching from Jones County. That's the thing about the rain today. It's going to come down heavy, but it's notice that it's more of a linear line. There's not a whole lot of rain behind it, so it's going to be a quick hitter. We're not going to have the rain for hours on end like we saw a few weeks ago. Monika asking if Peach County will see a tornado. It is possible. I expect Peach County to go into a tornado watch today. Margaret asking about Sparta, pretty much the same thing. You're kind of on the edge of that 2 and 3 risk, but I would treat it as a level 3. It should go right through the county. There you go, right through Hancock County. So I would treat it as a level 3 primary threat damaging winds, but then also keeping an eye on that tornado threat as well. I'm trying to see if I can get more comments to pop up. I see that they're there, but for some reason it's only showing me some of them. But if you have, here we go, what time is it supposed to hit Macon? So in Macon, we are going to be talking about the isolated storm threat from 1 p.m. to about 4 p.m. So it's not going to rain from 1 to 4 in Macon. It might not even rain at all from 1 to 4 in Macon because these are going to be isolated storms. But the main line is going to come through Macon-Bibb right around 6 is the thinking, 6 p.m. So after 6 p.m., the severe threat will be coming to an end here in Macon, and it will continue down to the south and east. So the severe threat will be ending from northwest to southeast. It will end in Forsyth, then it will end in Macon, then it will end in Cochran, then Eastman, then McRae. That's how it's going to go today. So yes, that is pretty much what we have here in central Georgia today. Now, once all of this is over, we will be cooling down. This is a cold front after all coming through central Georgia, and the cold front is going to be responsible for our high temperatures not making it out of the 40s tomorrow. We got 48 as a high temperature. So we're going to go from 73 this afternoon to 48 tomorrow afternoon. And then for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday mornings, lows are going to be down below freezing. And in fact, Sunday morning, I've even got 20. So if you're headed up to UGA for all the events on Saturday, it is going to be sunny, but it is going to be cold and windy up there in Athens. So something to be mindful of there. So let me flip this back over to the radar, and you will see kind of like what we're talking about in terms of what's going on right now. Obviously, severe warnings galore. We've got watches, the tornado watch in effect. The Storm Prediction Center our local weather service office did say that they have not had a conversation with the Storm Prediction Center yet, but it is going to be happening shortly, and they expect to have a watch before noon, of which I expect parts of our area would be included in that. So the watch right now does expand, they would fill in this part here next, so it would clip us. Caleb, is it going to rain here? Yes. What about Pike? Pike is in the level 3, Pike County, level 3 risk, damaging winds and the potential for a tornado. Haley, what about Gray? Damaging winds and the potential for a tornado. That's the plan as of now. So that is where things stand. We're coming up on 9:15 now. Pike is right outside your listening area, but also outside the other areas, so we get very little info. Well, we highlight Pike County on our map, so we try to talk about them as much as we can. I know you don't get us on TV there, but we try to cover you as much as we can. What about the wind? Ask Susan. Wind is the biggest concern today. Damaging winds, especially as that main line comes through, is a concern. Twiggs County, same as everywhere else. Damaging wind, primary concern, and the tornado is going to be the secondary concern, but the tornado risk is nothing to laugh at. Chrissy asking if Ideal is in the level 3. I believe you're right on the edge. So let me pop up and go down to Macon County. See, so the level 3 clips Macon County just like that. So Ideal, literally, here's Ideal, and it is literally right on the edge. So treat it as a level 3. The line quite literally goes right through Ideal. That's funny. Curious what the schools will do. That is not my wheelhouse. All I can do is tell you what the weather is going to do. I cannot tell you what the schools are going to do. Predicted rainfall have to turn on pump with 4 to 5 inches. We are not expecting 4 to 5 inches of rain. Maybe an inch to an inch and a half, if we're lucky. What about Sandersville and Wilkinson County? Pretty much the same. We're right on the edge of that 2 and 3, but the threat primarily for damaging winds, and then the secondary tornado threat is a concern. Same for Crawford and Macon. Supposed to drive to Statesboro this evening. Should I postpone? Well, it depends when this evening. If you're driving from Macon, that main line of storms is going to arrive at 6 with that severe weather threat out ahead of it. Same for Butler. When will it be over tonight in Cochran? It should be over around 7 or 8 in Cochran. Cordele going to get rain. Yes. What about Pulaski County? Kind of the same as everything else. Dublin, kind of the same as everything else as well. And Mount Vernon. So obviously, the further southeast you are, the later the storms are going to be. It's going to be closer to that 9 o'clock time. The further northeast you are, or northwest, excuse me, the faster this will be over. So, once that line comes through Monroe County at 4 or 5 o'clock, Monroe County is done with the severe weather threat for the day. Do you suspect tornado warnings will be issued at some point in the day? I do. I do expect that, and when it does happen, if it does happen, we will be on air and online covering that. What about Augusta and Milledgeville? Augusta, not too concerned about. Milledgeville is in that level 3. Doctor's appointment tonight at 6, Warner Robins area. Should I change that appointment? Well, it's going to be storming, and it's going to be severe weather at that time. Thanks for the information from Ivy, Emmanuel County. Emmanuel, so once you get out here, I think we're okay. So Emmanuel County, Vidalia, Hazelhurst, like just outside of our area, but everything else, watching that severe weather risk. Same for Lawrence County. Tifton is in a level 2, and I think that's a solid level 2. I don't think you should pretend like it's a level 3 in Tifton today. Be in Warner Robins at noon. Am I good? Yes. Do you suspect tornado watches will be issued throughout the day? I do, and I expect it will be. We will have a tornado watch in central Georgia before midday. Time frame for Macon County, 1 to about 4. We're going to be watching those isolated storms, and then 4 to 6 is the main line coming through. No, there's no chance of it breaking up before it gets here. We're already kind of locked in. It's already happening, and it's moving towards central Georgia. The environment that it's moving through is very conducive for it. I do not see it breaking up. What about Bibb County? So isolated storms 1 to about 4 or 5, and then the main line around 6. And that is where things stand. Traveling from Augusta to Macon around 4, should I postpone? Yeah. Here's the thing, is that line is going to be coming through Macon at 6, so you might make it here just in time, but we're going to have those supercells out ahead of the line. That would be fun to drive through. What time is it going to be over in Sandersville? 6-ish. Wrightsville, kind of the same as what we've been talking about, probably over around 7. Did the tornado threat go up? Yes, it went up between 8:30 and 9. It doubled. We went from 5% to 10%. Dooley County, kind of on that at the edge of the level 2 and 3. I would be prepared for severe weather in Dooley County today. Isolated storms 1 to 7, and then the line at 7. What time for Dublin? Isolated storms, we'll say 2 to 7:30, a line around 7:38. And so, yes, answering the question about the tornado threat going up, yes. So the tornado threat did double. We went from 5% to 10% at 8:35. That was from the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center. So here's what's going to happen now. So the next step in this is to get the tornado watch. We expect it to come, the National Weather Service is expecting it to come before midday. So at midday, we will have everything you need to know on the news. And we will be here through the day. Jordan West is here. I'll be here for at least the first part of the day. Ben will be in later on tonight as we are covering the severe weather, and we will have to see what happens here in central Georgia. But as always, if anything changes, we will be on here to let you know on Facebook, on 13WMAZ, on 13WMAZ Plus, on the mobile app, on Twitter, on everything today to make sure you know what's going on here in central Georgia. But again, just to recap, from 8:30 to 9, the tornado risk did double from the Storm Prediction Center. We went from 5% to 10%. A level 3 should be observed, if you will, or everybody in central Georgia today should just treat this as a level 3. The event has already started back into Mississippi and Alabama, and we are going to continue to keep an eye on it here through the afternoon hours, and I will leave you with this. This is the radar. Let me turn off the vector outlook so you can actually see it, of what's going on right now. So we'll put a loop on this. We're about to have our meeting here at 13WMAZ to talk about our afternoon plans, so I've got to go run into that. Otherwise, have a great day, Central Georgia, and of course, when anything changes, we'll be on here to let you know.